Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo, and welcome to another episode of the Backstage Podcast. And I'm super excited to have the founder, the main technician, the main man, the muscle behind it. I mean, he wears a lot of hats, but he is a great guy, and he is the founder, the owner. I would say co-owner because his wife helps him out a lot. Probably helps him out a lot, right?
Oh,
It is Dickie Ball with Summit Handpiece Express. Dickie, what's
good to see you.
up?
Good to see you. How we doing? Everything's good?
Man, everything is good, and it's even better
Amazing.
because you're here. And I just want to dive right in. I mean, look, the name of the company. I mean, look, Summit Handpiece Express. You kind of know what he does, but if you can't figure out through the name, how do you help us, Dennis, out, Dickie? How do you help us out?
Well, thank you. Good to see you as always. And yeah, as you explained, jack of all trades, master of none, but hand pieces is what we are masterful at.
Yeah,
We do dental handpiece repair, high speed, low speed, air driven, electric, anything that basically goes in a patient's mouth that is a hand piece tool, we fix for you.
I love that. I love that. And that's super important. I tell people a lot of times, like you got to have some people on speed dial, right? And
Yes.
Dickie's one of those people because you can't do any kind of restorative dentistry without a handpiece,
It's
right?
really hard.
And if you're down a couple of handpieces, imagine that full schedule that you work your butt off on, right? Like in a lot of my podcasts, I had different people who help fill the schedule, like Danielle Kramer, or have
Amazing.
like coaches like Kurt Teachout who help you like have the system to do that. That's all fine and dandy, right? But if they're sitting in your chair and your handpiece doesn't work, and then you go in there and your assistant says, "I'm sorry, all the handpieces are in the autoclave," you got a choice, and that choice is fiddle your thumbs and just have a staring contest with your patient. And who likes that, right, Nikki? Does anyone like that? Having a
That's not
staring
productive at
contest
all.
with your patient?
Right.
No one does.
No
So,
one.
with that being said, Nikki, so how long have you been dealing with crazy dentists like us, especially with a tool that's so important with us? How long have you been doing it for?
We've been in business since 2009. We started our company in Denver, Colorado, and 2 years ago we actually moved to West Palm Beach, Florida, which is really home for us. It's where my wife and I were both born and raised. Both of our daughters, who are part of the company as well. We are a legitimate family business. If you've ever seen us, we're at the trade shows. My daughters, Annabelle, Kelly, and Caroline, they're all with us. We're a
Yeah.
team, and we help everybody to not have those conversations and staring contests with
Yeah.
those kids to get them going.
I love that. I love that. Now, I'm gonna, we're gonna talk more about like hand pieces and best practices to take care of your handpiece and all
Sure.
those things. But I kind of want to dive into you, the man behind the company. And you brought up something that I've always respected. And guys, if you've been in some trade shows and Dickie's there, it is a family business. You'll meet his lovely wife and his awesome kids. They are so awesome, very
Thank you.
savvy. Love business, love learning everything. Why is it so important for you, Dickie, to involve your family in the business? Why is it so important?
So being a family that homeschools, we're very in tune with education. My wife by trade is actually a math teacher.
Okay.
She got out of the classroom, and what better person to teach your children than a teacher? So
Yeah.
for us, when we were in Colorado, it was an amazing experience. Um, Entrepreneurship is something that we would love our children to pursue. If not, that's great too. But we want to give them an option. We want them to experience firsthand what it is to own a business, grow a business, and have that camaraderie with your clients to know that really what you do in life, what you should be doing in life, it should be based on your faith and integrity. And that's something that we really, really instill in our children. And we really believe it. And we stand behind that in our product and our service with our clients.
I love that. You don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk too. And another
Right.
thing that I want to point out too is that you guys truly have a family business, a true small business. And a lot of times people are like, when they send their handpieces to, a company or whatnot, they're not even sure who's working out. They don't even know who they're talking to. But I think it's safe to say that pretty much almost every handpiece that comes to get repaired and get cared for, it's at least touched by you. And
100%.
and if someone is calling or inquiring or sending emails, they're probably talking to you or one of your family members. There's no one else, right? You're not outsourcing out. You're not taking these handpieces. Thank you very much. I'm going to send it overseas. They're going to fix it. I'm going to come back, and that's why it took you 2 months. No, you're intimately involved in all the details. Is that true?
That is 100%. The biggest thing that we try to pursue with our clients is a customer experience that's none other.
Yeah.
You're talking to the owner of the company, the co-owner of the company. Sorry, Kelly. If you're not talking to me, you're going to be on the phone with Kelly because I'm busy working on the hand pieces, but I'll stop what I'm doing and we'll talk and we'll figure out if there's a shipping issue or something that's going on. Or, I just had a client actually 2 days ago. They called me and said, "Hey, these hand pieces were just repaired. We're only lubricating them, one time a day. Why did the bearings fail?" So now we're going to troubleshoot, and she already answered my question. It's the lubrication process. There's a problem there. When you're only lubricating them one time a day, that's not adequate. That's not enough. So again, you call, you email, it's Kelly or I. One of our technicians will work on the handpiece. I check everything to make sure the rapport that I have with my clients is top notch, and we want you guys to really have a different experience. That when you go and you say, "Hey, you know what? That company, I actually got to call them, and I actually spoke to the owner, the
Yeah.
technician, or the technician's wife." Like that's pretty amazing. So,
I love that. I love that because it's like, how many companies, I mean, for the dental practice owners out there, how many companies where you could say like you actually could talk to the owner and actually the owner's probably handling your product or handling your case
right,
and sometimes you might be talking to the owner's wife too who is also the co-owner. I mean,
right.
how many times can you say that? I think that's very rare and I think it's really refreshing. Now Dickie, I'm gonna have to ask you something. I want to put you on the spot, man. I want to put you on
Sure.
the spot because there's so many practices and a lot of practices in Nifty that in other Facebook groups and other across the industry they love the service that they get from your company and they love working with you. But
Right,
at some point, there's only so much of Dickie that can go around. At some point, right? As you get busier, how are you
right.
going to address that when people want your time and you're just so busy, man? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, and we're already there. And the beauty of it is as the owner, it's my integrity and it's my name on the product. I make the time to speak to every client. I make the time to respond to the emails, to do everything that I need to do within my power. Obviously, if there's certain things that shipping, might be delayed or something like that, although I'm not hand delivering it, right? I'm doing the check. I'm looking at FedEx or whatever, service it is, and I'm saying, "Hey, this is the tracking number. Here's where we're at." There's no problem too big or too small that we can't work out to still provide that top-notch customer service for our clients. And again, let them say, "Hey, my name is on this. You're working with me. Integrity and pride is something that we really, really instill in our company
I
for
love
sure."
that. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna switch
Sure.
gears here, and we're gonna talk about like you just brought up a client of yours. There was issues with the bearing, and there was not enough lubrication. What are some of the things that some of our listeners and viewers can do to kind of maintain their handpieces better? You had talked about lubrication. What are some of the other things that you see that they can do, and also what are some of the things that they're not doing, and that's why they have to keep sending more hand pieces to you. So let's talk about that. What can they do, and what are some
Sure.
of the things they're not doing that actually could make things a lot better for their hand pieces?
A lot of the issues that we see when the handpieces come in, our first objective is to diagnose and see what that actual issue is. So what does that mean? If it's an electric handpiece, is the head getting hot? Is the water spraying properly? Maybe it's not. So that's an issue. We want to address that. We want to make sure that everything is working proper. In the office, what we would like to do is instill simple steps to have them lubricate them properly. In addition to the lubrication, what's a huge thing that we love to do? Handpiece isn't working properly. The burr's not spinning enough. If it's air driven, we go over, we crank up the PSI, right? We don't need to do that. Let's make sure the PSI is inaccurate. It happens, and I get it. But
Yeah.
the other thing to consider too is that sometimes, you know what, the burr that you're using might be past its life. So now it's time to throw that out. Let's get a new burr ready to go. It's sharp. We know it's out of the package, fresh. Check the PSI, make sure the PSI is the recommended use. So every manufacturer has a recommended PSI. For example, Cavo, depending on the model, could be anywhere from 38 PSI to 41 PSI.
Oh, wow.
Is that handpiece going to spin at 65? Absolutely. What it's going to do, it's going to prematurely kill the bearings if it's that excessive.
Huh. I never, I've
Yeah.
never heard that.
Yep.
I just like, who cares? Let's rock and
Crank it up.
roll,
Let's go. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's a big no-no, unfortunately. And I get it. And sometimes we understand, the procedure needs to be completed. The burrs are always an issue if, you're getting some type of loud noise. We always want to do a diagnostic chair side. So if you're running the handpiece, you always want to run the handpiece with a burr. You test it with your cutting burr in there. If it sounds loud, clanky, I always call it the marbles in a Coke can. It's this loud, tingy metal noise.
Hmm.
It's got a vibration. It's very obvious when it happens, right? Because that's why you're sending the handpiece in. Um, Aside from that, burr retention is another issue. You'd always want to check to make sure the burr is being held properly. We don't want a patient injury. We don't want to run into an issue where, hey, the burr's flying out of the handpiece. It's going across the room.
Yeah, you
The
don't want that.
we don't want an issue there. But lubrication is the number one, and I see it often where the hand pieces come in, referencing the client that we mentioned. Um, they're a new client. They just started utilizing our service, and I says, handpiece was just repaired within 3 weeks. What I'm seeing is excessive debris buildup in the head. What does that mean? The Q-tip, when I go to clean the head out and I check everything, if it has grit, it has grime, it's really, really black, it's dark, and it's dry. That's the first telltale that we're looking at. And I says, okay, there's no lubrication happening here,
Oh, wow.
especially if the repair was just completed. That's a big
Yeah.
issue. So when I talked to her, I explained this is what we have. Um, you know, unfortunately, but fortunately, we find the problem, we assess it, we figure out what we're looking at, and we make sure that it's 1,000% correct. What I don't want to do is have the handpiece go back to them and we make the same mistake again.
Yeah. Because they
So,
might keep doing it and they don't
yeah.
know.
So the first thing when she told me, she says, "Oh, well, we're only lubricating the handpieces once a day." So there's the problem. So obviously that's not correct. We're not going to do that. You want to have it done every time after the patient procedure is completed, before it goes in the autoclave, you lubricate it, check to make sure that the if you have a machine, which some companies do, some practices, if you have that, great. There are subject to user error. So if you don't have the canister filled or the reservoir filled, then you're lacking lubrication. So that's not gonna help the matter, right? So you want to address that. Make sure that the lubrication
I
machine.
guess it would be kind of like getting the hose out and watering your grass but not turning the water on.
We're not going to turn the water on, so we're just going to hold the hose. Yeah, exactly. That's a great analogy.
Well. Man, I am still like just blown away by the PSI thing. Like I'd never known that. I mean, I've never known that because again, it's like it's just I thought it was just a factory setting and you just go rock and roll, but I didn't realize that every handpiece had a PSI. I mean, it's almost like taking your car to the red line
Yeah,
for no reason.
right. And imagine, so great, and I love that because I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
I'm building a hot rod myself. I love cars. Um, Imagine taking it to the red line with no oil. It doesn't make
It's
sense. Like it's
crazy.
not going to
It's
end up.
crazy. And I mean that's what I love about having you on and working with you because I mean you don't have to tell anyone anything. You can just say I'm just gonna fix it. No, but you actually don't want them to to make the same mistakes over and over, even though if they kept on making mistakes, they kept on sending you business. Why is that? Why is that so important for you, Dickie, to make sure that you educate your clients to not make these mistakes? Why is that so important to you? I mean, because again, like they break it, they just send it, you just fix it, right? You
Right.
just fix it and send it
Right.
back. But why is that so important to you?
So being advocates of education for us is huge because,
Yeah.
like, for example, we spoke at FDC. We had a 2-day, 2-hour class this past June in Orlando at the Florida Dental Show. And it was amazing because, and we had everybody. We had doctors, we had assistants, office managers, DSO personnel that are like, hey, we really want to get a grip on this maintenance thing. And that's why they're attending it. So when you go to get education, it's very driven behind the fact that we want to educate all of our clients and even the people that are not clients yet. Let's educate them and let's know that, hey, we can go ahead and we can teach you the proper things because two things happen when the handpiece fails. Your production decreases,
Yeah.
your patient experience decreases. The patient's not happy. If you have to go get, how many times did it happen? You're in
Oh
the middle of
yeah.
a procedure, handpiece goes out. Well, now you have to
They
go
start
find
losing
another.
confidence in you if you have to get up and get another handpiece each time.
Exactly. So it's to increase all of the things and make everything better for both the doctor, the practice. It increases EBITDA when you're able to get in there and you're not spending a bunch of unnecessary needed repairs. That's less time, that's less wear and tear. And if you do it properly, that's why we want to educate everybody. We want to make sure that every single person says, hey, this is what we're doing. And there's really no wrong answer, or, well, I should say that. There's no wrong or silly question because as the doctor, I don't expect any of my clients that are doctors to know anything about the handpiece
Yeah.
because that's not what they're trained to do.
hmm I mean,
That's
look, I
my
didn't know
that's
about the
my job.
PSI thing like that. Like,
Right,
I've been
right,
practicing for a long time, so it's like
right,
this is the first I've ever heard of that,
right.
and now it just makes sense. Now it
It
just
does.
makes sense. Like, and it's a lot of times. I mean, honestly, it kind of like helps the manufacturer too. Like sometimes we're just like, dude, this is a piece of junk, man. No,
Right,
man, you're like totally abusing it and you didn't
right,
realize it. And again, um, man, if I don't know this, I can only imagine how many dentists out there who don't know what you just told me.
right. And
And
that's
you only
our
know what
and
you know. So I love the fact that education is a big part there. Now I'm curious here. Um, I know you spoke at Florida Dental Conference and you're going to be speaking. You spoke at Rocky Mountain and there's other places you speak. But let's say like other area societies, right? Like I have so many people across the country that watch our podcast and listen to our podcast. If they want you to come speak, how does that work? Like, do they just kind of shoot you an email or something, or is there
yeah,
a place
yeah,
you won't go? But like, or
absolutely.
or like, if they want you to kind of have the same presentation that you share with these two other organizations? What if there's another organization there that wants you to come speak there? How does that work?
Absolutely. So reach out to me, let me know. We'll set something up. We'll do a Zoom call and see what works best schedule wise.
Okay.
We're actually trying to work right now. We're actually trying to get something that's going to be an online base where basically the entire format is going to it will be available to the staff. They go online, they log in, and
Nice.
they're going to do their course essentially right there online and make it for everybody.
Oh,
And
that
and
would
really
that
the idea behind that is to get everybody educated so that they know. I always use the scenario of, hey, um, your main maintenance person is out of town on vacation, and now you have a temp that does not know, or you have somebody else that doesn't know exactly what the procedure is.
hmm
The nice thing is, if you go to our website, we actually have a printable PDF that gives you step 1 through 5, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. And right in the middle is our phone number. Why? Because we want you to call us if you have questions.
Yeah.
We want to basically discern any misinformation and get it exactly as it needs to be for your practice.
I love that. I love that. And yes, when you have that ready to go, you gotta let me know so I can let everybody in my network know too. Okay, so this is the perfect segue to the important question is, okay, well, if someone wants to send some hand pieces to you, wants to set something up with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
If you visit our website at www.summithandpieceexpress.com, so it's simply the company name.com, you
Mhm.
go onto our page. On the first page, there's two tabs. One is a work order that is a print off PDF file. You can fill it out online or you can simply print it and fill it out. And then after that, you're going to go to the label generator, and that's going to be a United States Postal Service prepaid label.
Okay.
On that, you input your information. It automatically generates a 4x6 label that prints off. You do not need sticky tape or the roll. Just cut it off, regular piece of paper, tape it to the outside of the box, have that form inside. We always recommend that when you're sending in your hand pieces, you want to write down that tracking number. There's a little spot on the work order that
Mhm.
will allow for you to input that information. Make a copy of the work order for your record. That way you have it. Give us the hand pieces. We'll do an assessment. If you want us to just repair them, that's fine as well. First, working with us, we want you to get an estimate so you have a clear understanding of what the cost is,
Yeah.
what repairs are going to be completed. If the handpiece is not repairable, we have an option. You can buy refurbished handpieces from us. We do sell that. Um, it's going to be the popular brands, any of the, quality handpieces that are available. We refurbish those in-house. We then sell those and pass that savings on to the customer. Typically, we're about half the cost of new. We still do the same 6-month warranty on most handpieces. Some of the Star 430 lube frees, those are a 1-year warranty in the turbine as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Print everything off online. If you have any questions or run into an issue, you can email me at Rick at summithpx.com.
Easy enough. Easy
So
enough. So
easy.
look, guys. I mean, here's the thing. Look, I mean, you only know what you know. Rick just shared like a ton of information with all of us, right? He turned a ton of information. But here's the thing I want everyone to take away from this is that uh, he- they lead with education. It's a family-owned business. Chances are you're talking to someone who's related to the owner. Okay, you're talking to someone who's related to the owner. And again, what better way to work with a company where you actually work with the owner and someone who's related to the owner. I love it. Vicky, thank you so much for jumping on. I look forward to having you on more episodes, and thank you so much for being a resource to our community.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you and thank you for having me as well.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.